lead of 3 after leading by 11 at one point, scoring 39 points in the first quarter to the Chicago Bulls. They only scored 23 in the second quarter. Inability to hold on to the lead. There's things that we've been seeing consistently with this team rearing its ugly head. The inability to guard a pick and roll. Jakob Porto seems like anytime he gets in a pick and roll, he kills the Bulls. Keldon Johnson with 17 points to lead the Spurs right now. Nikola Vucevic leading the Bulls with 15 points. Zach LaVine also has 11. DeMar DeRozan has 9 shots to get 8 points. Not the best efficient night. Ayo Dosunmu came on in that second quarter as well. All 8 of his points coming in the second quarter. Patrick Williams 3 of 6 with 6 points himself with 5 rebounds and 2 assists. We'll see how that rounds out scoring wise for him. He's leading the Bulls in box score plus minus with plus 10. Is Patrick Williams. Drummond, 7 minutes from Drummond, 6 points, 7 rebounds, 1 steal. He's getting active. He also has 1 turnover, only 1 personal foul. I like Drummond's minutes out there so far today. The Bulls just got to execute on the defensive side of the ball. That's what's really hurting the Bulls the most right now, in my opinion, is the lack of execution on defense, specifically in pick and rolls, things like that. We need to see that team play a little bit better. The Spurs are a team. Listen, the Spurs are one of the best coached teams in the NBA. They have one of the historically best coaches ever in the game of basketball, and they're playing like that, right? They're not going away. They're a team that even no matter how far they get down, they still execute their offense. They stick to the game plan. They push the pace a little bit more with that second unit. But right now, if I'm just being honest, yes, the Bulls have the lead, but the Spurs are executing their offense better than the Chicago Bulls right now. That's just period. The Bulls have the more talented team, so they should be in the lead by more than 3. But the Spurs are just executing their offense very solidly, missing some key pieces of their rotation. And the Bulls got to step up. The Bulls have to step up in a major way in this second half and put this team away. Because I'll tell you what, you let this game stay close like this in the fourth quarter with Greg Popovich's ability to call plays and just to get into the chess match, it's probably going to be a loss for the Bulls. If this game stays this close, going into the final minutes of the fourth quarter, this is going to be a loss for the Chicago Bulls because Billy Donovan just doesn't adjust that way. So if the Bulls want to win this game, they're going to have to come with a way better defensive effort in the second half of this game. A way better defensive. I like the defense in the first quarter. I don't want to make it seem like it's been all bad defensively because it hasn't. But they just haven't executed that defense in a way that's going to keep things up. So we'll see. Jello YT says we just don't want to play today, huh? It's another one of those weird feeling games. Like the fact that the Bulls had fast break opportunities and they were taking it up slowly is just made it feel weird. The Bulls also, something that frustrates me. I talked about this before. A Nikola Vucevic and Patrick Williams pick and roll could be dangerous. We've seen the Bulls use it twice this game and they scored on both possessions. A 4 or 5 in the game of basketball, right? I'm going to get to Huncho's comments. In the game of basketball, if you can run a pick and roll with your 4 and your 5, that is one of the most dangerous versions of a pick and roll you can run just baseline in basketball. When you add into the fact that you have 2 players that are a threat to shoot the ball. Patrick Williams is more of a threat to put it on the floor than Vooch, even though depending on the matchup, Vooch can put it on the floor too. Both really good passers. If you run that 4 and 5 pick and roll a little bit more and your other 3 players are moving without the ball, I'm telling you, that would be one of the most dangerous plays for the Chicago Bulls team. I'm going to go on the limb and say this. If Greg Popovich, for example, coached the Chicago Bulls, he would use the 4 and 5 pick and roll and have the other players coming off screens or pin downs. And I guarantee you, every time we run a 4 or 5 pick and roll, 90% of the time we would run a 4 or 5 pick and roll, it would end in the basket. It may end a couple times on 3-point shots by your guards, but I'm telling you, and that's my issue when it comes to head coach Billy Donovan. It's just the simplicity of it. I'm not a coach. The fact that I can just break down how a 4 and 5 pick and roll with ball movement can be dangerous in a dangerous offense, and we rarely see it. It goes to show you just how mediocre of a coach Billy Donovan is for this team. But let's go ahead and get back into the comments. Bro, P-Dub in the first quarter was insane. Yeah, listen, P-Will, it's not translating to high scoring games, but his activity on both sides of the ball has been felt. The number of Doug P. Will has missed this season, man. Hey, he's missed some bodies this season. Definitely missed some bodies this season. Big Poppy Mofongo says, Emar erosin with his 1,000 pump fakes. Listen, It's so funny that I said that and that name stuck. That's crazy. Sluggo in the building says, we look sluggish as fuck. Io trying to push it in. Nobody else is running with them. Agree with you. Sluggo also chips in. Vooch with a 15 and 9 piece already. Vooch is out there. He's out there. I told you, Vooch is one of the most consistent bull this season. Not impressed. Spurs are trash and we still struggle. Bulls supposed to win, but will they? I'm not surprised. If Acme remove a couple of pieces and add a couple of pieces, Billy will screw it up. Hey, listen, I said this before. What did I say? You can give a terrible cook the best ingredients in the world, and it's going to be a terrible meal. You can give a mediocre cook. You can give a great cook bad ingredients. I watch a lot of Chop, and they're going to find a way to turn it and elevate that meal. Billy Donovan isn't the cook for this team. I'm just going to let y'all know that right now. Sydney in the building says the lack of energy is real. Absolutely real. Chicago Bullpen says, can't wait for a blowout big enough to let Dalen in. IOP, Will, and Kobe want to run fast right now. I want to see them with Taylor and Terry and Drummond and what that can look like off the bench. That'd be a nice pick and roll. On fast break. Melvin Dortch says, our rim protection is terrible, but other than the sluggishness on offense in the second quarter, it's been a good game. Pat and Io stepping the fuck up. I love what I'm seeing. Yeah, we just need everybody to step up with them. BKR Sport in the building says, we making the playoffs, don't want to hear it. Hey, listen, let's all hope that it's real. Alana says, why do we always let the Spurs get to the rim so easy? Because the Bulls, Jakob Porto is just a player that the Bulls don't know how to guard. Don't know how to guard at all. The biggest problem with our team is the drive to succeed. I think we making the playoffs, but the motivation isn't there. I definitely feel you there, BKR. I know y'all see Pat getting off that floor. He's getting to that rim. Dude's explosive. Listen, P. Will is more explosive than what I gave him credit for his rookie season. He's going to catch a body one of these days. The problem is, Haize, if we run 4 or 5 pick and roll, we always have a non-shooter on the floor. Io DeMar, they hesitate to take them. That's the piece we got to trade for. No, I disagree with that because it doesn't have to be a 3-point shooter. And Io can knock down threes. He's just reluctant to. 4 or 5 pick and roll can still be effective, even if it ends up in a mid-range shot. You don't have to have 3-point shooters out there for a 4 or 5 pick and roll when your 4 and 5 are also threats to shoot the ball. That's the key thing there. If we had a traditional 4 and 5 where they weren't necessarily threats to shoot the 3-point, our best 3-point shooter by percentage is Patrick Williams. That 4 or 5 pick and roll can still work highly for the Chicago Bulls. Big Papa Mofongo says, let's hypothetically, what can we get for trading DeMar? Hey, that's the biggest question. And I would say, while I'm not necessarily saying AK in this offseason needs to trade DeMar, but you need to start looking at that, right? Expiring contract, you need to look at explore all your options in the offseason. I don't hate DeMar, but we cannot settle on jump shots. I really hope he drives unless he's open. I mean, he's been passing more. Let's give it to DeMar. He's passed it a little bit more. So Android Drama got something to prove this game, does he? Who are we talking about? Now I know I can gather that you meant Andre Drummond, but bruh, your speech to text needs some work there, brother. Haize, be honest, do you miss? No, I don't miss. No, I don't miss. I cannot. Like, he's cool and a good role player, and he could probably fit off the bench for this team. But it's that's less space if you're looking for a mid-range shot. That's less space. That's space that we operate anyway, though. That's the thing. When a pick and roll creates space anyway. And if you're running, and the other 3 players that aren't involved in the pick and roll, think about it. One is setting the pick or the pin down. The other 2 are moving. So you have more than enough space there because your 4 and 5 are a threat to shoot the 3. You have more than enough space. The spacing isn't a problem, Big T. Big T, I need you to stop trying. Like, bro, like I get it. I know, especially on YouTube, a lot of people want to prove their basketball know-how. Bro, I know what I'm talking about, right? I know what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I talk about. I talk about this all the time. That 4 or 5 pick and roll will be nasty, and it'll let Pat open up a little bit more. It'll force Pat to be aggressive, right? Because at that point, you're forcing Pat to either take a shot or make a decision. You're getting him involved in the offense. You need him to touch the ball. Pause. A little bit more. Haize, I'm struggling to understand how Billy forgot that Drummond was on the right. He didn't forget. Drummond was playing bad. and Billy Donovan punished him. That's what it was. And he Drummond, to his credit, took the opportunity of injuries and got back in there, has been playing great. Got to be real. I bet money DeMar Bells is out this game. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what DeMar's role is, bro. That's what his role is. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt Lonzo misses the whole next season. Bro, like that's deep. The more basketball content I watch, the more I realize 99% of people don't understand the game. Hey, it's a big like but the thing is that basketball is one of those sports that it's easy to to feel like you have a general idea of how the game went by the box score, right? I would say this: the box score of an NBA game kind of paints more of the picture than what a box score in an NFL game would do. But it's still not the full picture. And you have people that don't watch or really comprehend basketball that try to form that full opinion based off just the box score, and they will never understand the game. It's just like the people who are like, why is Alex Caruso on this team? It's like, if you don't watch basketball and if you don't take in basketball at a certain level, you will never understand how much Alex Caruso positively impacts a basketball game, even when the shot isn't falling. Haize, if the Bulls win this game and the Hawks lose their next game, would we be the 8th seed? I think is there more separation than that? Give me 1 second. Let's see. So right now we sit at 1 game back from the Atlanta Hawks. So yeah, if we win and they lose, we gain a game on them. Technically, we would move into a tie then, and I think they own the tiebreaker. But if we also win tomorrow, then yes, we'd own it outright. All the All-Star reserves are solid defenders besides Debo. That's funny. D Greatest says Chicago Sky Central is goated. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. This is like my first offseason covering of the Chicago Sky, and I will say it's been a more eventful offseason for the WNBA than I've expected. And the fact that, keep in mind, during the season, it's tough to get like 200-300 views on a Chicago Sky video. We've gotten like 2,000 on one, 700 on another, 400 on another. Of course, it's not Chicago Bulls Central success, but I'll take it. NBA don't become real basketball. No, NBA's real basketball long before then. And especially if you take in the game and you watch, especially this season, like the chess matches, it's much more than real basketball before the playoffs. You just got to appreciate it. It's not like the playoffs, you're getting the top of the top. So you can tune in every night and for sure you're getting a great matchup. But I would like real basketball is the season. I like to just see how things go through the season, how things grow and stuff. Big T, I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're shrinking the defense. If help side can't knock down the three, it's the mid helps come quicker. Oh, agreed. I'm not saying you're wrong either. I'm just saying that with this team, DeMar doesn't need much space to operate in mid range, and because you're then using your 4 and your 5 in a pick and roll. Like I said, Io's not reluctant to shoot the three. You probably would need Kobe out there with him or Zach. Matter of fact, if it's Zach, Kobe, DeMar, Patrick Williams, and Vooch, that's probably your best lineup to run that 4-5 pick and roll at a very high level. Because at that point, you really have two players that aren't really high volume 3-point shooters. But again, I like that matchup. I like that. I like the idea of us using that a little bit more. So happened to choose the greatest WNBA offseason in their history. Perfect timing. Hey man, this has been a crazy offseason for the WNBA. But all right, games coming back on. I'll be back here post game show. See Red, go Bulls. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.